This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only.
A document claiming to be Israel's terms on which final status negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians can begin was leaked to the media. The Bush administration has decided to sponsor a conference in November to realize the president's vision of a two-state solution. The saber rattling between Syria and Israel has suddenly stopped. Are these signs of hope for the Middle East? Or will this be another dose of false expectations? Answers to these questions and more on Link TV's Mosaic Intelligence Report.
After several years of refusal to bring serious attention to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the Bush administration has decided to sponsor a conference in November to realize the president's vision of a two-state solution. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert have been conducting bi-monthly meetings while negotiators on both sides have been behind the scenes frantically drafting an agreement that addresses a final peace deal with Israel. Most recently, a document claiming to be Israel's terms on which final status negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians can begin was leaked to the media. The document looked at the possible borders between Israel and a future Palestinian state, saying Israel will withdraw from large sections of the West Bank and return to the 1967 borders with some reciprocal modifications. At the same time, in a surprising move, the saber rattling between Syria and Israel has suddenly stopped. Officials from both countries have been denying reports of a possibility of war erupting between them after a tense period of military movement and training exercises in the Golan Heights. The Israeli media has reported that Ehud Olmert sent a secret message to Assad, stating that Israel would return the Golan Heights in exchange for a comprehensive peace agreement, which would include the severing of Damascus's alliance with Iran and terror groups in the region. Meanwhile, the U.S. has solicited the help of Saudi Arabia to sit side by side with the Israelis at the conference table in November. The Saudi participation is no coincidence, since the United States is readying a multi-billion-dollar military deal for them, and it needs congressional approval, which will not come without Israel's approval. For its part, Saudi Arabia has been looking for ways to counter Iran's growing influence in Iraq, in Lebanon through Hezbollah, and in Gaza through Hamas. Israel is Iran's enemy. The enemy of an enemy begins to look like a friend. With all this maneuvering ahead of the US-sponsored conference, many are wondering if this is just a desperate attempt by the Bush administration to repair the damage that has been inflicted by the war in Iraq, or is it a bold step to change the Israeli-Arab equation? Regardless of the intentions, the prospects of success are very slim. Ehud Olmert is an unpopular Israeli prime minister. He was recently described by a Likud representative as a prime minister with zero public support who is ready to divide Jerusalem and allow it to be destroyed to save his skin. The Palestinians are also split. Mahmoud Abbas has lost control of the Gaza Strip to Hamas and lacks the ability to deliver on any agreements signed with the Israelis.
They do not want Islamic model represented by the Islamic resistance of Hamas to succeed in governing.
Also, the Syrians are not ready to give up Hezbollah and view Iran as the new power in the region after the US withdraws from Iraq. Will this be just another conference in the region full of great expectations, but with little hope for a solution? I'm Jamal Dajani for the Mosaic Intelligence Report. To learn more about this program or to share your thoughts, visit us at linktv.org/mosaic.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now!, here to ask you for support for Mosaic, world news from the Middle East. You know, in media news, a new study shows that corporate news coverage of the Iraq War has dropped sharply in the last 4 months. According to the Project for Excellence in Journalism, the Iraq War accounted for just 15% of news coverage, 19% of the network evening newscasts. We need more coverage of the Middle East, not less. We are talking right now about living in a time of war, and it is up to us in a democratic society to decide what to do about that. Mosaic provides information from the Middle East, from countries in the Middle East, from a Middle Eastern perspective. It is invaluable. And right now they need $200,000 to continue their work. to continue their coverage, to bring you their fall lineup of this essential program. The number to call to make your pledge is 866-485-8848. That's 866-485-8848. You can also pledge online at linktv.org. Please pledge as much as you can. Information is power. When you have information, you are empowered to do something about it. That's what Mosaic provides. Again, they're trying to raise $200,000. In order to do this, you can be a small or large part of that. Pledge 25, pledge 50, pledge 200, pledge 500. Mosaic needs you. If you've needed Mosaic for information, now they're asking you to help them reach their goal. That number again is 866-485-8848. That's 866-485-8848. Make your pledge, make it now. You can also pledge online at linktv.org. That number is the lifeline for Mosaic, 866-485-8848. Make the call that makes the difference. This is viewer-sponsored media. You are the engine of this program. Mosaic provides a unique perspective from many different countries in the Middle East. Please give your support to independent media, 866-485-8848. And thanks so much.
This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs which connect you to the world.